Well, as the title says, this next section is Christian conventions. And these were, I believe, Pentecostal, but it might just be evangelical in general conventions called CA, which stood for Christian Ambassadors. It was basically teaching us to go out there and save lives as Christians, save souls, help people, all sorts of things. Teaching kids how to be able to go and just help. Big conventions with various stuff to do, your typical type of convention, big church meetings every day, and all sorts of things. They were sort of pretty fun. Each year, the church would travel to wherever the town was. We'd stay in a hotel, usually bunk together, which is kind of funny when you think about it. We never thought about problems of it. I actually probably was protected from any pedophiles if there were any, because nobody wanted to share the same bed or even be near me because I rolled around in my sleep, I snored, so usually I ended up with a small little cot or my own room, which suited me quite fine. It was still interesting. It was kind of fun, again, to do these things. It was a learning experience. Though it did make me think of some of the stories. Hearing the stories at the conventions and at camp too, we just assumed they were correct. We never thought about, wait, is this testimonial actually real or true, or is it even this person's? Is it someone else's that he heard about? Because the one I heard, the one I really remember, was this guy was going to be a star football player. An incredible athlete. And one day he'd been fooling around his house and had jumped this hedge and fucked up his leg. Most of the muscle had to be removed. It was so completely ruined and things. It was just destroyed. And he tells a story about how his sister and him were out there and he's trying to cope with it, and he falls and she falls with him and he's crying his eyes out. She's crying her eyes out, and they realize that God's going to repair it. And sure enough, the muscle that wasn't there anymore was repaired. Maybe fudge the story because it was a long time ago. But that's what I remember. And of course, that's completely preposterous. If the story was true, you would hear about it all over the news. As a young kid, here's this great miracle by God, obviously, showing what God can do. And I didn't even think about it, particularly until years later. That made no sense. There was no way this story could possibly be true. And it's the same with a lot of these conventions and camps. We were told these incredible events, like I mentioned in the last one. People were slain in the Spirit, got drunk on the Holy Spirit, all these things happening around me, and people just amazing things. And how much of it was either staged or just people wanting it so hard, wanting to believe so hard that they caused it to happen. Which is what was going on. Because most churches don't have this kind of thing. Of course, my church would say that the reason you don't get slain in the Spirit or have these things is because it's just proof that they're not real Christians. But it still makes me wonder. It's part of why I'm an atheist. Just looking at all these things that just don't make sense. So I'd like to hear your thoughts. So rate, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think on this subject. Have any questions, or if you have similar experiences.